Hello everyone, my name is Miss Sarah from the Lucy Robbins Wells Library. I'm here to talk to you guys about some fun, spooky reads. So if you're a fan of the Goosebumps series, this is going to be a really fun one for you. It is called Frightville, and this book happens to be Don't Let the Doll In. So Frightville is a brand new series by Mike Ford with a lot of great spooky adventures. And in this one, our main character Mara hears about Frightville, which is a new oddity store opened up in her town. So she decides to go check it out with her mother, because they've been building a dollhouse together. And she wants to find the perfect doll for it. And she's sure she'll find one here. So they go into the store, and there on the shelf she finds Charlotte, a little porcelain doll with a name tag around its neck that said Charlotte. So she decides, that's it, that's my doll, so she goes to buy it. But the storekeeper has a little warning for her. He said, Charlotte will be a great doll. You just have to remember to say a special rhyme to her before bed. Well, Mara thinks that's just part of the gag of the store. It's just a trick to make it seem a little more spooky. So she doesn't think much of it. And by the time she leaves the store, she's forgotten all about the rhyme. But that night, as she goes home and she goes to bed, she starts to have some weird dreams. And in her dreams, she thinks she hears Charlotte moving around. That can't be. Charlotte's just a doll, right? But in the morning, Charlotte's not in her bed where she'd left her. Instead, she's sitting in the dollhouse's kitchen. Well, she's pretty sure she's left her in bed, right? Maybe she put her in the kitchen. She just forgot. But as the nights keep going, things keep getting stranger and stranger. Now things are appearing in Charlotte's dollhouse that she knows she didn't make, like a tiny pair of scissors. Is it possible that the storekeeper was telling the truth about that rhyme? And maybe Charlotte was actually haunted? And if she is it too late to do anything about it? So you'll have to check out the story and find out what happens. And if you enjoyed the Frightville series, there's more to look forward to, because it is a new series starting up, so there's going to be lots and lots of fun books to read. So definitely check that one out. Let's talk about another spooky read. This one is called Nightlights by Lorena Alvarez, and it is a graphic novel for all my graphic novel fans. It is about a young girl named Sandy who has a vivid imagination, and she loves drawing more than anything else. And because of it, she does tend to get in trouble from time to time because she's not paying attention to her teachers, doodling in class, but she just can't help it. She just imagines so much, and she loves turning her imagination into all kinds of fabulous creatures. But her mom's getting really serious about this no drawing at school thing. But that's when she meets the new girl, Morphe. And Morphe recognizes Sandy's drawings for the first time. She thinks they're awesome and amazing, and she definitely doesn't want her to stop drawing. But when everyone goes inside at recess, Morphe stays outside. Well, Sandy thinks that's a little strange, so she starts asking her classmates about the new girl. But none of them know what she's talking about. They don't know any new kid. There's no new kid at school. Well, that's a little weirder. And then all of a sudden, Morphe's fascination with Sandy's drawings starts to get a little bit more sinister. She wants Sandy to draw for her, and only her, and nobody else. Maybe there is something up with Morphe after all. This is a really awesome graphic novel. It combines fantasy and reality, so sometimes you might not even be able to tell what's real and what's not. So I definitely recommend this for anybody who likes something a little bit spooky but not too bad, and loves graphic novels.
I'm Mrs. Mendelson to talk to you about some spooky books. This one is called Took by Mary Downing Hahn. Ghost story. This was actually a Nutmeg 3 years ago. It's a very spooky book. Mary Downing Hahn is known for writing her spooky books. This one takes place in West Virginia. Daniel and his sister Erica moved with their family from Connecticut down to the mountains of West Virginia. They hear stories from the local kids that there's a ghost witch called Old Auntie, and every 50 years she comes and takes a child servant, usually a little girl, and then after 50 years she returns that girl and takes a new one. Daniel's friend Brody says Erica is next to be took, and they say took instead of taken. It's just the way they talk in that town. Erica has this little doll, you can see here, and Old Auntie actually uses the doll to talk to Erica. Erica starts acting very strange, and then one day Daniel finds this girl in the woods. Her name is Celine. Erica has disappeared. Celine looks a lot like Erica, and he he finds out that Celine was taken 50 years ago. She was took 50 years ago. So this is a very, very creepy book. So if you like really, really scary, creepy books, this is a great choice for you. All right, this book is part of the new Disney Chills series. So they're taking popular Disney movies or TV shows, and they're taking the villains and they're kind of bringing them back. So this one is called Part of Your Nightmare. And as you can see, there's Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So this takes place in Trident Bay. There's an aquarium there, and Shelley, age 11, is our main character. She's very smart, she's into science. She just moved to a new town. Her parents have split up. So she's trying to make new friends, and she's doing everything she can to fit in. She's very desperate to fit in, would do anything, even if it goes against her core beliefs. She finds this new group of girls that she likes to hang out with who have accepted her, and they go on a field trip to the Trident Bay Aquarium, which her parents run, and they're out on the they walk around and they see all the different aquatic animals in there, and then they're out on the catwalk, and one of her friends dares her to throw her coffee cup into the ocean. Now normally Shelley would never do that. She doesn't litter. She's very much into the environment, but because her friends told her to do it, she did it. Shortly after that, things begin to change. A wave comes and takes her. She starts having these weird dreams. She meets the sea witch, Ursula, and she makes a contract with her to be the fastest swimmer to win their swimming tournament. But as you know, if you've seen The Little Mermaid, when you make a contract with Ursula, there are consequences. And Shelley is going to find out the hard way those consequences.
The Blue Ghost by Marion, Dane, Bauer. Elizabeth, whose nickname is Liz, and her grandmother are staying at a log cabin in the woods. It is a family home that was built by Liz's great-great-great-grandfather. One night, a noise woke Liz up, calling, "Elizabeth." Opening her eyes, a woman with a bun and a blue dress was standing before her. It was a ghost. What does this ghost want? She says nothing more, but went through a solid wall wanting Liz to follow. Liz, strangely enough, was able to go through this wall, back in time. She ended up in a room with her great-great-grandmother at the same age Liz was now. Why did the ghost bring Liz into the past? What does the ghost want from Liz? Will Liz ever get back to her own time? Read this ghostly mystery and find out what the ghost wants and what happens to Liz. The Skull of Truth by Bruce Coville. In this book, Charlie is a 6th grader who tells lies all the time. A more recent lie has gotten him in trouble with the class bully, Mark. One afternoon, Charlie runs away from Mark through the swamp that Charlie loves and knows well. But on this day, there's a strange old store that Charlie has never seen before. His curiosity gets the best of Charlie and he enters the shop. Charlie sees a mysterious skull and thinks it's unusual to find it even in this strange shop. Now, Charlie may be a liar, but he has never stolen anything until now. He takes the skull home, and soon after, Charlie receives a warning. Be careful what you say. Be careful to whom you say it. It is often smarter to say nothing at all. And last, don't let the skull out of your possession. Is this skull more than just a skull? What power does the skull now have over Charlie? Read to see what happens.
Hi, it's Mrs. Cobb. I'm here with one of my spooky picks for the month of October. My first pick is from the 13th Street series. It's called The Battle of the Bad Breath Bats by David Bowles. This is the first book in the series. It's a fast-paced book with some illustrations throughout by Shane Clester. And it also has some Spanish words and phrases sprinkled throughout, so that's pretty cool too. So in this story, there are 3 cousins who are staying with their tia Lucy for the summer. Tia means aunt in Spanish. So the first cousin is Malia. She's a girl. She's the oldest. She's a little bit bossy. She likes texting her friends. Next, there's Ivan. Ivan likes to read. He's kind of considered the brainy one. And then there's Dante. Dante has a kind of a chill vibe. He likes to play video games. As the story begins, the cousins are on their way to the water park when they meet Doña Chapela, who tells them about a shortcut and gives them some strange advice. The shortcut takes them to 13th Street, and the cousins are hopelessly lost, and all the buildings seem to be abandoned. So Malia uses the map app on her phone, but 13th Street doesn't show up on the map. It doesn't exist. What is this strange, desolate, alternate reality that they have found themselves transported to? Soon the cousins encounter giant, ferocious bats, a ghost, and a skeleton. Can the cousins use their strengths and work together to find their way back to Tia Lucy? If you like books with lots of action, then Battle of the Bad Breath Bats will be a good choice for you. Also, there are 2 more books in the series to look forward to if you like the first book. Book 2 is called The Fire-Breathing Ferret Fiasco, and Book 3 is called Clash of the Cackling Cougars. So I'm excited for you to give it a try. It's not too scary, but has just enough of a spooky factor. In my next book, by Anna Humphrey, Daniel has just moved to a new town, and he's having all those feelings you might have when you move to a new town. To top it off, his new bedroom is in the attic, and this mysterious puddle keeps appearing, and sometimes Daniel even hears a voice. Is it a leaky roof? Is it a ghost? Or could it be a lonely bat? Well, it's Megabat. Megabat is, like I said, by Anna Humphrey. Megabat is definitely the star of this story. He's a funny, feisty, Star Wars loving fruit bat with a very unique way of speaking his mind. But the bat is a long way from home. Daniel works with his new neighbor Talia to figure out how to get him back to where he came from. But can they keep a talking bat a secret from their parents? Or will Talia's meddling brother Jamie ruin their plans? This is a good choice if you like books with friendship themes, or if you're like me and don't particularly love a scary book. This book isn't very scary at all. And if you like Megabat, you might also like to read the next book called Megabat and Fancy Cat.
Hi, it's Miss Bailey, and today I want to share the Ghoulia series with you. Not Julia, Ghoulia. And Ghoulia is a pretty normal girl, well, except for the fact that she's a zombie. And Ghoulia lives in a big house with her auntie departed and her dog and some really interesting family members, one of which is a talking head, her uncle. And she's actually not allowed to make friends with the neighborhood kids. Her aunt is kind of afraid that kids might chase them out of town if they find out that Ghoulia really is a zombie. But Ghoulia, again, desperate to make friends, sees an opportunity when Halloween is approaching, and she thinks this might be the perfect time in the book Ghoulia Making New Friends Can Be Scary to introduce herself to those neighborhood kids. And then in the second book, Ghoulia and the Mysterious Visitor, Ghoulia has her cousin Dilbert come to visit. But that's kind of weird because she didn't know she had a cousin Dilbert. So who is this kid? And her auntie departed has gone missing. And then suddenly there are people showing up with these dinner invitations that Ghoulia didn't invite them to. So she's a little confused as to what's happening. And can she figure out what happened to her aunt and who exactly is Dilbert to her? And if you love graphic novels, you might want to check this out. They are a mixture, kind of like that chapter book graphic novel feel. So there's plenty of illustrations to help show the story. And it's pretty, I really like the illustrations. So again, if you like zombies, if you love having some pictures to go along with your story, please check out the Ghoulia series. Hi, I'm Miss Bailey, and I actually want to talk to you about some of our books in the Choose Your Own Adventure series. There are actually some spooky stories in this collection, and I love that. So Choose Your Own Adventures, you actually get to decide the outcome of the story. There's a bunch of different endings that you can choose as you read along, and what that means is there can be anywhere from like 10 to 20 different endings for that story. So the first one I want to share with you is called The Haunted House. And in this story, you, as the main character, have a dog named Homer. And he actually takes off after a cat one day when you're walking him and runs into a haunted house, or what you presume is a haunted house because it looks so spooky. And you have to decide if you're going to go after him. And if you do, and you happen to go in there and you realize you're not alone, what do you do next? Then I also have Ghost Island, which you are on a family trip, a sailing trip, and your family decides to stay on an island overnight. But the island kids share with you is supposed to be haunted. So you might, depending on what you choose to do, if you choose to go hunting around with the kids in search of ghosts, you might meet a pirate ghost. There might be a haunted skull. The possibilities can kind of be endless. So if you want a kind of game book where you get to choose the ending, check out Choose Your Own Adventure.